know when timekeeper is in the house, she'll just be urging you. When are we starting? When are we not starting? Hi, Dala. Okay.
Okay, we are live on
We're
YouTube now.
live. We're live on Instagram. Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Business Readers Global Club. This is our boardroom, and this is where we train professionals, elite professionals who are at the apex of their game. We come here every time we're in section to read business book, and tonight we're reading the book, The Lean Startup. Actually, we've been reading this book for the past week now. Today we're looking at chapter 13, and chapter 13 is the epilogue, and it says, Waste Not. This particular chapter is going to be presented by David Ipese. I'm very excited to listen in. I've missed quite a lot of the presentation this week, but I had the time to flip through chapter 13, and it was quite an insightful read. So I'm looking forward to David's presentation tonight as he closes the book, The Lean Startup by Eric Ries. David, the mic is in your court.
Good evening, good everyone. Can you hear me? Okay. Thank you very much for this great privilege and opportunity, even though it was a arranged setup by me. Thank you very much. So we'll just be looking at the last chapter of the book, The Lean Startup, and it says the title is Waste Not. So it's also an epilogue as well because at the last two chapters, the last two pages of the books, it also reiterates what it has been saying since the chapter one to chapter three as well, right? Which is very important for us as entrepreneurs to take note, take note from and to learn from. Quickly, so I mean, this is just like a rough notes from all I've gathered from the book. So not really all the book is here, but I mean, just give you an idea of what this chapter is all about and what the book also is all about. So the big idea for this chapter is saying that waste isn't about being slow. It's about doing the wrong stuff. That is called waste, right? Putting all energy on what will not even profit and what will not even move any needle for the progress of the organization. So you say in today's world, we can produce way more stuff, in terms of product, service, and idea than ever before. And thanks to the event of technology and different tools, right? We have AI, we have a lot of things to leverage on to, come up with ideas. But the problem isn't, making those things faster or make it cheaper, right? It's deciding what to make those things, what to make in the first place. And a ton of effort gets wasted because people pour energy into building things that nobody wants or nobody needs. And it's like spending a whole day, perfectly polishing a bicycle that, no one will ever ride in. And which is the actual meaning of what we call waste, right? Putting energy and not taking in-depth research, not asking yourself the right questions, not, learning to, pay forward in terms of, let us test it. I mean, we've talked about testing, we talk about experimenting, right? And asking ourselves, does this thing actually meet the needs of our target audience? So the next slide, so the next slide is, where the author also quoted Peter Drucker, who is a management thinker, says, there's surely nothing quite so useless as doing things with great efficiency, what should not be done. You're putting a lot of effort into something and there's no one in the team that could also point to the fact that do we really need to have done this? Do we need to have gone far in this? Or do we need to have invested our time, energy, and resource into this? And it's saying here that, to further explain Peter Drucker point here, he says the goal of lean startup isn't just to speed things up, it's is to make sure that you are speeding up the right things by constantly learning what customer actually value, right? What do they value? What do they want to see? What would interest them? What solution are you bringing to them? And a lot of businesses, I mean, for In fact, I mean, based on my own region, based on where I stay here, Nigeria, yeah, a lot of businesses, especially maybe in the fintech sector, right? Most of them are almost offering almost the same solution, right? None is like looking at another sector. None is also, looking to build, a lot of my colleagues too are also, a lot of my colleagues that, we finished school together. Some of them are also doing the same thing. And I'm like, the other solutions that you guys can provide with your tech skills, with your advent of AI skills, right? I mean, look for other things because the top guys that are there, they will not leave their business for you guys. So look for other things that you could, compete with, and you will also have a strong foot, right? And also understand customers as well, because if you tend to understand customer, even maybe sometimes you understand customer from your own, I mean, grassroots of you being an end user of a particular product. So if something you are trying to use does not work well for you, and you know that, oh, this thing is a solution to it. I mean, that is a point of view to, start up something and test it, right? So we need to learn, to understand what our customers actually value as an entrepreneur. So the next slide says we can see our forest. I mean, also quoting from Frederick Taylor too, who is under, management uh, thinker somewhat. He says we can see our forests vanishing, but our larger waste of human efforts are less visible, less tangible, and are but vaguely appreciated, right? It's also saying that this lean startup, it builds on this good stuff, but it has human touch. And what is that human touch is that this product you are creating, this solution or this service you are rendering, right? It actually adds value to human. It's not like as if we are trying to create a theory from nowhere, right? It has human touch. And that is why I mean, if you follow the process of how we started from the book, right? It's showing that, the lean startup is what will help any business, any structured organization to have a solid product and have a solid voice, right, on whatever they're doing, right? It's about, learning. I mean, it's about real learning from real experiments and not just, rigid rules that sucks the joy out of work, right? It's not the all paperwork like that, right? It's about, learning from the experiences, experimenting things on and on. And basically, the biggest waste, just like bad ideas or ignored feedbacks, hide in the plain sight, and we need to hunt them down. So, and these are just like the biggest fears actually. It has pointed to us that, those bad ideas, right? Some of them are those biggest fears, those ignored feedbacks. Sometimes in your team, somebody can just say something and you guys laugh at it and say, oh, how you be thinking of something like this? Whereas it might be a weird idea that, if, furnished and properly discussed, there may be something in it for the business and, it will offer a satisfying solution to the customer as well. So sometimes we also ignore feedbacks, right? Which is always normal. I mean, but it's also important to also filter feedbacks, not just ignore per se. There are some feedbacks, that yes, these people, maybe the people that you are testing them, maybe they don't have the whole knowledge to share, right? And there are some feedbacks that you actually know that this one we need to work on it. This one, as we are testing, we need to do this, we need to do that. So those things are very important to not just brush off while in the process of building startup as an entrepreneur. And the role of this whole body of work is also talking about build, measure, and learn, which is a repeat process that will help you progress as an entrepreneur. It says in our fast changing world, companies can build almost anything quickly, and but they often chase the wrong doors, like vanity metrics, fancy numbers that look good but mean nothing, or feature customers don't care about, right? Those things doesn't mean anything, right? If you are building a business, you ensure that you are building it with the right mindset, with the right orientation, with the right information as well. Not just, getting data to prove that, oh, you have something, but having data that speaks to the problem that you're trying to solve, having data or having, real insights to the problem that you're also trying to solve, because that will fuel what would be in your marketing communications or in whatsoever you're trying to sell. And big companies waste millions on millions of efficient projects that flop because they didn't test if people want them, right? We're still going back to this word: test, experiment, learn, right? The way forward is to, build, measure, learn, loop, follow this loop that you're seeing as build, measure, learn, and loop. Build, measure, learn, and, it goes on and on and on. There's no stopping, right? And any action that doesn't help you to learn what creates customer value is waste. So it's better to cut it off. So any idea, any action that you're trying to make, if it doesn't create a value, if it doesn't create value for your customer, it is best known that you have to cut those things off. And it's just a waste of time. So we need to understand what activities are we running in this organization, what activities are we running as a startup that won't add value to us as we are progressing. So those things need to, be yanked off, right? So that we'll be able to focus on the main thing. And following forward is that, science in business is just like testing and just like, having hypotheses. And it's just not a code or robotic. It's not just code or robotic. It's opposite. It's empowering, it's creative and focus on people. Like I said, there's no solution you are bringing that would not, you are not doing it for animals. You're not doing it for rocks. You're not doing it for people that doesn't have feelings. Like you are doing it for people that have emotions, people that have feeling, people that have, you know, blood vessels running through their body, right? So it needs to be creative, it needs to be, interesting. So it avoids the caricature of, the sorry, science also helps you to avoid the caricature of, it avoids the caricature of science as soulless formulas instead of making work more meaningful by tying it to real results, right? When we do all this that has been said, right, we are able to connect, individually, we are able to connect individually to the people we are speaking to the solution we are providing to each of our customers as a startup, right? In conclusion, right, the lean startup isn't just for anybody, any startup alone, only startup alone, but it's for everyone, including people that work in big corporation, non-profit organization, NGO, right? Government agencies that are at least because these are also set of people that also tend to be in that loop of wasting money. And we see a lot of them, especially in this part of our country, right? Some of them don't actually think, oh, they want to just have it in their name that, oh, want to build bridge. Where do you want to build the bridge? Is it something that is viable for the, people that are using their leg to walk, right? There are a lot of bridges around that, Orile, my two side that I saw some times ago, right? Some of those bridges are not even like it's not even working because it can't even work because where it is and where people are always passing across to the other side is very fast. So those kind of things, there is not thought through. Maybe from the person who approved the contract, or maybe from the contractor himself, or those things are not well thought through. And so, and someone in the team already saw it coming but didn't say about it, right? Because we can't say that it just happened all of a sudden, right? So it's important that you know an entrepreneur, you have to have this open mindset to always discuss, have general feedbacks from in-house team, have general feedback from people that you also perceive as your own customer as well, right? This group, let me further conclude and this conclusion says this group of people waste billions on outdated ways, but they can use these principles to innovate without fear, adapt to change, and build things that last, right? And so it's very important for, if I go further, right? If we go further to the end of the book from this part here, you will see that he now, speak to us about we also carrying the gospel of the lean startup to everywhere we go to, right? Even in our small organizations, even in our big organizations, or in our own startup too, right? It's very, very important to do those things because, learn, uh, experiment, test, you know, make research, get knowledge, and not looking for just anyhow data. Look for insightful data to drive your point, to drive your solutions, and that is how to succeed. And that comes to the end of my presentation. Thank you very much.
Oh, wow. Thank you so very much, David. Beautiful presentation as always. And I mean, you picked out all the beautiful points from this particular chapter. I'm just looking for my notes because I read this while I was in plane, and quite a lot of stuff jumped at me, when I read chapter 13, and I think I had my summary notes, and one of the stuff which you mentioned here was one of the lines that I actually underlined. It said, "What can be studied scientifically and improve through a rigorous experimental approach." And there was a statement that jumped at me. It says, "We do the wrong thing efficiently all the time." I was like, oh boy. I think we should be telling ourselves that we should be using that as a quote, because for us to change is for us to first acknowledge, if what we're doing is the right thing, if there's a lot of waste in our system and all of that, you know. But that's just looking at that particular word, I was like, wow, because it's so easy. We're doing the wrong thing and we're doing it efficiently instead of doing the right thing effectively to get efficient results. So thank you really for summarizing that, for taking the time that you had to really put that beautiful slide together. And I think it's good because we're going to be able to unpack, the entire book from chapter 1, which you've summarized up until chapter 13. Um, one of the things, and I speak to everyone in the boardroom, one of the things that I don't admire about having four presenters is that we usually don't have the time,
to
to
discuss.
discuss and have critical thinking, or to even ask questions. So I don't know, maybe we're going to make some adjustment. I don't know, maybe it's just me who is feeling that way. But when we have four presenters, there's usually no room for a robust conversation. Perhaps we may need to change that, or we need to be flexible to also adapt, to say maybe the minimum we can have is, the maximum we can have is three, so that we really have time, or everybody keeps to their time, and then we can now have at least 10, 15 minutes to really ask questions and discuss. So I want to, of course, ask everyone in the boardroom to give David his flowers. Um, Sayedun said it the other day. David has grown immensely, and you're not just the only one who have experienced exponential growth in the boardroom. All of us have, but David has really showcased a lot of, leadership nuances, the confidence with which he presents the slide, which was, I mean, um, his strongest forte. Um, but now he's a little bit more relaxed. The charm, you can see he's engaging. He's a very strong speaker also. So, I mean, beautiful, David, beautiful, beautiful.
Thank you.
Congratulations, to all of us on finishing this book. And we will open the room for discussion, inputs, comment, um, insight, whatever it is that you must have jotted in the course of the 4 days, so that, or even question. And I think I have one, and I would like to ask that question. So this book talked about how to innovate your product, especially, and it took us through, the lens of testing your product with customers. And I like what Ken shared. I don't know how many of you looked at that link that Ken shared in the boardroom. I think it was Ken. Yeah, Engineer Ken shared something in the boardroom, and it was talking about testing. I don't know if it was that particular video, but it was talking about testing outside your environment. So, for instance, Nescafe has a new product line, but they will not test it as Nescafe products. They'll open a small coffee shop somewhere, and test that particular flavor. If it fails, fine. It doesn't have anything to do with Nescafe. If it passes, the next thing you see is that Nescafes adopt that particular coffee shop, into being their brand. My question to the boardroom is, when you have an MVP that is not so refined or developed, right? is not fully fleshed out. Um, how do you think customer will perceive such a product? Because sometimes this new approach, agile approach of MVP being released, and I want to give an example of let's say a software or any product that is not fully fleshed. Let's say this bag. How would you feel if I just bring the skeleton of this bag? If you're not a
Right.
creative
You
person,
mean
can you
your
really
Birkin bag?
my Birkin bag? Yeah, if I'm not a creative person, can you really see? Because and I think it happens a lot in our environment, even with architecture. Most people don't see the end product. And I think for architecturing, they give you a dummy outlook of what it should be like, but most people cannot see the end product. Don't you think that testing will fail? That's just my question. You know, at what point should we release an MVP into the market for testing? That's the
Okay.
question one. And that's to the whole,
I think I want to go first on that one. So
yeah,
the first thing is based on your previous comment about, how big organizations go about releasing some of these products, right? Or services. There's a general saying that goes like this: EU um EU is down, fears no fall, right? So what does that mean? For small organizations, startups, the real startups in quote, who have not experienced any sort of um, like uh, what's what I'm looking for? That you don't have any sort of exposure there. That's a word to the public eye. Nobody even knows that you exist, right? Of course, your MVP can come into play at a very early stage
early
where
stage.
where you have not totally you know achieved where you are going to. Maybe you just want to test quickly to see, okay, how does the market react to this? And then you go and reiterate again, you go and iterate again, and then you come back, doing that cycle until you get it. Because already, first of all, maybe you don't even have, maybe you're just doing this from you're bootstrapping at that point. You're not even using your no investors, funds, or whatever involved to that extent. So even if it fails, you don't have any much, depending on the degree or the weight of the startup, right? In some cases, yes, even with investors fund coming in, they still have to do that. And investors understand that it's high risk. So even if the money goes up in the air. They don't have
Hmm. You
any
don't.
problem with that because it's a high risk game if you're a VC or angel investor or a family office or whatever, what have you. So basically, that's quite understandable versus a company that already exists, like a big organization that wants to bring out something new to the public, and they know that if this fails, it might definitely
Impact
rub off on their on their reputation and all of
image.
that.
Hmm.
Then they would go that route. They'll get some other company somewhere and test the product through them, maybe sponsor that product through that company somehow in the legal way, and try and make that product come. So but back to your question, when is the right time to test? As soon as you've got something validated that you see that, okay, this can, because we talk about minimum, that's why it's called the MVP, not most valuable player. Now I always mix it together. In the start, when I used to see MVP, I was like, oh, why are they talking about the most valuable player? The minimum viable product. So you're talking about something that once you get to that stage that it's validated. So that's the word, validated, where you can say, okay, I if I put this thing out there, and it must not be the full length of the product itself. It might be an aspect of it, maybe the first part of it, right? And you know, somebody will now be like, okay, yeah, looks sensible from what this guy has done so far. If he's saying he's going a mile further, what he has done is already proven that, if he goes, another mile, there will be something profitable, there will be something beneficiary, from it, both on the investor side and on the customer side. But at that point, he's already showing sort of prospects
Value.
and value. So that's the validation point. So it's very important that, I know some other person wants to talk. I can see a local hands up already. But before we go on, let me just say, Princess, I need 5 minutes at the end of this just to throw in some little quiz questions at us. So if you can just oblige me, that's 5 minutes at the end. Yeah, thank you.
All
Okay,
right.
so
Thank
the
you
next
very much,
speaker can
Sir
come up.
Buki. Yeah. Buki.
New name for me.
Well, good evening, everyone. David, well done. That was a fantastic presentation, and you did a good job on this chapter. This chapter actually summarizes the entire book. But for me, the key takeaways from this chapter is the validated learning is the goal. Like instead of focusing on outputs like how many features you build, the core goal for me should be validated learning. You understand? So it means that you need to understand what customers actually really need in real world. You don't just wake up and say, yeah, because you love so and so, without considering the demographic of where you are. I don't know if you're getting me. You just wake up, you're not looking at such factors. And for me, real entrepreneurs, actually, what real entrepreneurs do is to produce things, products that and innovation that are needed by customers. So startups should use the just like David said, should use the scientific method to conduct the experiments. To start with a clear hypothesis about the products or strategy, you understand, and then testing it to see that if the predictions are actually correct, not just and just like Princess asked that when is the right time to introduce your MVP to test into the market? Well, I couldn't answer that question because I'm still thinking that it can be, there are so many factors that you can consider to, there are no fixed rule to when you can release your MVP because it depends on also the demography and the demand for such products. Then for me, what I've really taken home in this book is this, that for me to be a successful entrepreneur, I must create the most value product with the less waste, with the least waste or less with whatever. Like I should be able to manage my waste, reduce my waste as much as I can. And this can only be achieved by validating learning, which will eliminate all effort that don't contribute to this goal of ensuring that my startup is creating something valuable. I think for me that's take home pay. Thank you, David, for that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Buki. Any other contribution? Samira, outside it's a noisy place. Likewise, Umi. Ubong, any other contribution from you?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yeah, I don't have contribution per se because I've not been following up on this particular book, the Lean Startup. But I think I was able to join the boardroom yesterday and briefly today, and I want to say kudos to all the presenters, and I look forward to read the book. I've been quite busy lately, but I think I'm done with those phases that was keeping me busy, and hope to resume the boardroom fully and follow through. as I'm one person who is so passionate about business and growth. So I want to thank everyone for still keeping hope alive here, holding on while I was away. Thank you very much. I don't have contribution, just to appreciate each and every one of us in the boardroom in the Business Readers Global. Thank you.
Thank you, Bong. We sent you some congratulatory message, the entire house. Please ensure to bring our drink to the house now. Now that you have joined the leagues of politicians, at least let us unveil. And Abi, everybody is laughing. Abi, no be so.
So,
Nah, please tell us what you were busy about. We all knew, and then bring the drink to the house so that uh, we can celebrate some more. Yeah.
All right, I'll do that in due course.
Let the course be early. Due course
Okay.
can be another year.
No, not
Yeah,
All
yet.
right.
I'll do it. I'll do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you
yeah,
very
Princess, I
much
just
and
wanted to say something
congratulations.
else that popped at me based on your question. I think, the um, right timing, or the timing for, launching, let me use the word launching your MVP, right, will determine solely on the type of product you're trying or service you're trying to invent or innovate, bring up, whatever, in that sense. And the sort of um, resources available, basically, right? You cannot compare somebody who has a fully, um, let's say you are in the same industry, for instance, let's say you're in the same industry, let's say you are somebody working in um, yesterday I used the company Lever Brothers. I don't know if that still exists, like I said. Or, I used, let's say, one big company out there who is, they are known for production, manufacturing. And you are local, or let me not use the word local, let me say you are a small, startup coming up from one corner, and you want to produce the same product. Maybe let's say it's soap, for, let's say, bathing soap or something for taking it bath. And these other guys have huge resources to throw in the pool. They can set up a team and say, okay, we want a new soap that's maybe competing with an existing brand or something, and you also have that same idea as a small startup. The resources available to the guys in the big company will definitely determine their speed, will determine their sort of um, accelerated, mode of getting that product dished out, versus you who has limited resources and whatever, right? So that's one point. But on the other side, again, what I wanted to say about the timelines or time frames for getting products out also depends on what type of products you're trying to bring out. For instance, if I'm a startup who's trying to come up with a car like Tesla, for instance, it will take me longer time to get my product to the market, right? We're talking about product market fit now, which is very important, because it's not just bringing the product out, but you're talking about product market fit. Take me a longer time for me to get my product to the market than somebody who's just probably doing something tech related, IT related, whereby um, within hours they can come up with some codes and even build a sort of framework for what they're trying to get out there, right? Let's even forget AI. Even before AI, we have programmers that will get something done so fast for you that you can get a product almost in place within weeks, within hours, right? So you wouldn't compare somebody who's trying to build a tech startup to someone who's trying to build a Tesla, for instance. The guy who's building Tesla still has to ensure that he has his battery technology well lined out. He has his, the computer systems well lined, everything before it all comes together and forms one car. So you can see that it can take that guy maybe more time or years to get to that point. So we have to put it in perspective and look at the industry that we're serving. We have to look at the resources that are available to us to get that done. But the most important thing, like we said, just make sure that you're not doing something that is in the wrong direction and doing it efficiently. Ensure that whatever you're doing, even if it takes you 3 years, it's better to be on something for 3 years and be walking in the right direction than for you to do it for 2 minutes and be going in the wrong direction. Because at the end of the day, failure is what comes out of it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Oluwatoyin, for that contribution. I think also Buki echoed that in our early explanation. Yeah, because it's a lot of variables before you can actually send a particular product to testing. So yeah, note taking. You said you were going to share a quiz with us in the house. I think we still have time. Yeah, we have still 15 minutes. So over to you, sir.
Okay, let me just, I didn't know to come to make this fast. So let me just get it up running. And then I saw your picture of you and Umi on the group, and I'm wondering, is that the real AI Umi? Because she looks even more like an AI figure than the one David did earlier in that picture. Don't mind me, Lady Umi. Sorry, I'm just trying to get the thing before I share it. I just want to get the quiz up before I share it.
Without resembles you now, it's not like as if it's AI. That was you know.
David, I'll come for training because the level you are in, I don't even understand.
Okay, yeah, I think I'm there. Let me share my screen now. Yeah, quick one. So I'm just using an online resource. I think I've mentioned this before, called Bookie. It's one of the tools that I discovered that have summaries. I use the free version for now. So sometimes not all the books we read, you can't find all the books we read here, but you find some of them sometimes. So I just do some research on some of the books, and this is one of the features that I like, because you can have like question and answers about the book, and also find quiz and all of that. So it makes a lot of sense. So I'll just have us go through some of the questions there. It covers from chapter 1 to the last. We may not be able to go through everything in this time, but I just want us to use like next 10 minutes or so to just go through some of the quiz questions. How would I go about this? I think, let me see. How do we go about this in a way that we can have a common vote for the answers? Okay,
you have to refresh.
I'll read. Oh, you can't see the
this one. This is already answered, right?
Is it? No, it's not. It's not.
Okay,
it just looks like it's not.
You have to pick which one is correct.
You have to pick which is. It's just saying the right or the wrong one. So I'll click on the right or the wrong one. We'll see if we got the answer right. I know it's confusing. When I first got there, I thought it was so as well. Okay, so I would do. Let's do maybe yay or nay. Are we like the National Assembly or something? Let's go. Let's go. Or maybe yeah. Let's try the first one. So I would read the sort of quiz number 1, 2, 3, and then we'll just say, I'll ask if it's correct or wrong, and then you tell me. Okay, so I'll see which person. I mean, it's not to any individuals, for every one of us to answer. So some of us might have this question right. So I mean, I think it's this.
If I know number 2 and I don't know number 1, which one I should wait for my own turn?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so let's go. Let's see. Building a startup requires management to prevent chaos and potential failure. Did I read it properly? Building a startup requires management to prevent. Okay, so it requires management to be in place. That's what it's trying to say. To prevent chaos and potential failure. So is it a yes or a no for us? Of course, it's a no-brainer.
Yes.
Sorry? Yes. Okay, so we all agree to yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so let's see.
Even without reading the book, yes.
I like that, Mr. Obong. Yeah. So it says, well done. It means we got it. You can see it down there. Okay,
Yeah.
so the next question says, the lean startup method prioritizes traditional metrics over validated learning in measuring progress. So I'll read it again. The lean startup method
The false.
prioritizes traditional metrics over validated learning in measuring progress. Do you believe it's a true or false?
False.
It's
Traditional.
False.
False. Okay, so
false.
I hear more people saying false. Okay, let's choose false. Sorry. Let's click on false. Why is it not responding like I want it to? Sorry, excuse me. 1 minute. Okay, let me go back here. My system is hanging, that's why. I'm sorry. Okay, so it says well done, which means we got the answer right. Thank you. So number 3 says entrepreneurs should always follow a rigid business plan without adapting to feedback. True or false?
False.
False. Okay.
False.
So it says
False.
well done. Thank you very much. So let's go to chapter 2, define. We have 3 more questions there. So it says the lean startup methodology applies only to traditional startup founders and does not cater to individuals in larger corporations. Of course, we know the answer.
False.
False. Okay, we go for false. Okay, so a startup is defined
Startup
as an
is-
organization focused on creating new products or services under conditions of high uncertainty. Sorry? True,
True.
right? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, well done. Yeah. So it says Intuit Snap Tax. Not everybody will know this one because not everybody
You
was there.
presented it. You presented this.
Okay, so Intuit Snap
Were we
Tax
listening?
was a failure because it operated within a large corporate structure, limiting innovation. True or false?
True.
Who else is going for true? I have to hear more than one voice.
I think
to
I'm
vote.
going for true too.
Okay, true.
But you took it when you were making
Oops.
you guys,
Oops.
Give the eyes.
We
Give
were
the
not
eyes.
listening.
you see? So it says that SnapTax was a successful story because the
Case
team
The team
showcased.
showcased entrepreneur spirit and adapted to customer feedback. But I thought that was the learning.
Mm.
I thought
No,
that was
because it
the
says
learning.
Intuit SnapTax was a failure. So it was not a failure. That's where you guys missed it.
I thought it was
That's
I
what
thought
it
it was
is
a
testing.
learning. Okay.
No, he's testing it, but it was not a failure. That's the test that it's trying to test our knowledge based on. So Intuit SnapTax was never a failure. It was a success. It was a success story rather. So since
Okay.
you guys need to pay me some compensation for not listening to my presentation well
I
that day.
know, right?
I'm just kidding anyway. Okay, the question was confusing, I know that. Okay, let's go to the next one. It says, in the Lean Startup Framework, this is chapter 3, I think. Chapter 3, yeah, Learn. It says, in the Lean Startup Framework, validated learning is designed to prove a startup's value proposition through actual customer feedback. We're talking about validated learning. So it says it's designed to prove a startup's value propositions through actual customer feedback.
True. Yes, true.
Sure. Okay. Thank you. You got that right. Okay. So traditional metrics such as timelines and budget adherence are the best measures of a startup progress in the lean startup methodology. Is it correct?
No.
Timelines
No,
and budget
no.
adherence. No. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. So what do we say it is? What would we say it is? What are the best measures? I'm just asking. I know
Learning.
it's not.
Learning.
Sorry, the best measures. Remember, it's best
Scientific
measures
prediction.
of a startup's progress. We're talking about.
Customer experience feedback.
Oh, sorry, my mouse keeps playing up. I'm just trying to. I don't know what's wrong. Okay, let's just go to the next question. I think we can come back to that later.
Okay.
Since learning in startups can offer, or maybe what I'll do, let's fail it and see whether it will give us any answer. Oh no.
I said deal.
I'll just go to the next question. It's not allowing me because I've clicked on the right one. Okay, learning in startups can often be used as an excuse for failure rather than a means to navigate uncertainties and achieve progress. I think that should be true or false.
Learning in startups can
What?
The learning in startups can be used as an excuse for failure rather than as
no,
a means to navigate uncertainties.
No,
It's false, right?
no.
Okay.
it's for
I
failure.
think
No.
it's true.
It's true now because you just use that as an excuse. I was
Why would you use it
I
as an
think
excuse?
it's the way the questions are framed that is
Yeah,
confusing us.
it's the way
So what
they
he's
frame.
saying is that learning in startups can often be used as an excuse for failure rather than as a means. Yeah, it's correct because I
Yes,
remember what he
correct.
said.
It's correct. Yeah.
So maybe I'm not reading it properly. Sorry. Okay, let's look at this is from chapter 5, I believe. 4. Okay, sorry, from chapter 4. Startups should rely solely on the just do it philosophy to succeed. Is this true or false?
True.
I'll say it's false, but if you say true, I don't know. I mean, my head is just saying false. But you can all chorus what you think is right.
I
Just
think
do it. I
you
think it's
mentioned
false.
that at the beginning of the chapter now. So I think
It's correct.
that'll
Okay.
be true. Let's see.
Let's see.
Relying solely on the just do it philosophy can lead to a lack of validated learning.
Mm,
Yeah. So
Well, to some it's
what he's
true.
trying to say there is that
To
if you
test
it's just like what we talked about last, just doing the wrong thing effectively,
the
you know,
efficient. Yes.
efficiently,
Just
sorry. Just do it without having validated learning in place. So which is what this book actually mitigates against, so because if you just keep going in the wrong direction, you go. Okay, so sorry for popping up all this. My mouse, I don't know, it's just misbehaving. Okay, so it says the lean startup approach treats a startup's endeavors as experiments to evaluate strategic hypothesis. Let's say again, the lean startup approach treats a startup's endeavors as experiments. I won't say. What do you guys think?
True. Because
True.
you have to
Who else is going for true?
get
Okay, yeah,
data.
exactly. True. Let's see. Oh my God, why is this happening? Okay, so it's true. Thank you.
Correct.
Let's go to the next question. We'll do this for next 5 minutes and so we can have our closing. Okay, so village laundry services in India successfully increased their customer base by ignoring customer preferences and needs. Remember, there was a story about the village laundry services in this chapter. So it's saying that they successfully increased their customer base by ignoring customer preferences and needs. I would say no, but
they can increase customer
yeah.
preferences.
So what do you guys go for? I know.
False.
Let's just do a guesswork, even if you don't think that it is.
False.
But
False.
false. Okay, let's see. Oh no.
False.
Your system can disappoint you in the most critical times. Yeah, so it's correct. Well done. We chose the right thing. It's false. Okay, so in chapter 5, Leap says Mark Zuckerberg and his classmates launched Facebook in 2004. And it grew rapidly despite initial low revenues and limited features. True or false? True. Okay. Go for true. Yeah. Remember, he had this done in his dormitory, and it went viral in Harvard. Okay, using comparisons to other companies, analogs, does not aid in making strategic decisions for startups. Using comparisons to other companies does not aid in making strategic decisions for startups.
I think that's true.
Anyone else? True, false? I'll say true as well. Okay. So we got it right. So it says analogs provide insights that helps entrepreneurs. So what are analogs in the first place? That's what we need to ask ourselves. Recognize critical questions for decision making. I'm just trying to. I know I read something about the analog, but I'm just trying to. Let me see if I can remember exactly. Oh, sorry.
Why?
I'm just trying to see what. Um, I can't really get that. Maybe we'll just pack it aside and research on it. Okay, so it says that the principle of Genchi, I know this was Madam Umi's presentation, if I remember very well, when she taught us how to pronounce this word, Genchi Gambutsu or something like that, emphasizes the importance of first-hand customer understanding of making informed business decisions. So let's throw that question to Umi since she did that presentation. So Umi, true or false? Is Umi still with us? Because I can't see
Yeah,
the people. Okay, it
please
says,
read the question. Read the question.
okay,
I
it
can't
says, oh, sorry, you're still
read.
driving. Oh, sorry. Maybe we should just leave it, but I'll read
Yeah,
it again.
but
It says the
read the
principle
question.
says the, oh, sorry. I think Umi is breaking.
Yeah, read it again.
I'll read it. Okay, it says the principle of Genchi
Yeah.
Genbutsu emphasizes the importance of first-hand customer understanding for making informed business decisions. I think
Yes,
it should be
of
true.
course. Yes, it's true because it means you go out and see. Don't sit down and rely on this your modules and to go and see, go and
That's
find out. Yes,
correct.
so it's true. Yes.
Thank you. You're right. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's do chapter 6 and 7 and we'll stop there. So 6 says Groupon started as a social commerce platform right from its inception. So Groupon, a company called Groupon, we know that. Is this true or no? Who took chapter 6? I think that might be me
I
or
think it's
no, it was engineer Ken, sorry, test, yeah. So Groupon started as a social commerce. Is it true or false?
I'm not sure.
Let's just say yes and see. Okay, so Groupon initially started as a collective activism platform, named the point before pivoting to become a social. Yeah, I remember that story. How come I forgot that? I remember that story. Okay, so the main purpose of minimum viable product MVP is to pursue perfection in product development. Of course not. Let's just go for the answer straight. No. Okay, so using video demos can effectively validate customer interest before the actual product is built, as demonstrated by Dropbox. True or false?
Video demos. Oh, what? True.
Like you want to showcase your product, then you decide to do a video demo as sort of a demonstration for that. Is it going to help you or is it going to work against you? Of course, it's true because if I can demonstrate effectively through a video that I want to do something for you, I believe that might whip up your interest. Sorry, I'm trying to get this clicked. So it's true. Yeah, you can use that as a means of advertising or showcasing what would happen. I think that's one of the best ways to even demonstrate any technology or whatever that can be seen, if it can be seen in that sense. Okay, so I'll do this as the last one and then hand over to, oh my God, we've passed time. I think I will stop. I was thinking that we are still under the I think I'll stop here. Princess, over to you. Sorry.
I was
Is Princess still
that.
there?
Yes. Can you hear
I
me?
was thinking that we're still under the hour in terms of I didn't know we've gone over the hour now. So
Yeah.
let's just stop there.
That's
Thank you
that's
very much,
because I was
everyone.
we're enjoying it, right? I don't know how many of you enjoyed that. Um,
Yeah.
and I think that speaks to what my challenge was with having four
Mm,
speakers in a day. So if we can do this, there's an innovative way to actually retain and understand what we're doing, and people can sit down, they're relaxed, and then they can refresh their memory before we close, that particular book for that section. So really, this is very good. Please share the link with us. I've already
yeah.
installed mine on my laptop. I've installed Bookkey. I think it's going to be a great resource for all
Yeah,
of
it
us to
is.
use. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's going to be
Um,
a great
in
resource
fact,
for us to
there's a
use.
lot of questions and answered aside the quiz, which I'll send to the platform. And that has really broken down the all of the information within the book, because he kind of they kind of made it into a question and answer type. And that will, if we have the time to go through it, will really give, even if you haven't read the book, it will give you a summary, real good summary of each chapter. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
talking about our migration into AI, I think this is also very helpful. So when we're planning our slides, can even make it more interactive by including some, quiz questions and stuff,
Mhm.
so that we can have that informed habit of cognitive learning, of critical thinking, and all of that. I think is important to navigate this learning environment in such a robotic and very experimental, right? We've been talking about experiments. So science, experiment, validate, learn, build, whatever it is, but just test. This is very good. I love it. I don't know about the rest, but I love it. So thank you, our, you know, AI Suavi Presido, for doing this. This is the way to go. Thank
Thank
you.
you. You're welcome.
So I can see the rest of the boardroom members. Thank you so very much for joining today. It's been beautiful that we're able to close at such a strong note. The book that we have been reading and having conversation on is called The Lean Startup. If you were not able to follow through with this book, I think we do advise, is a mandatory read for all entrepreneur. We do advise that you pick up the book and read through, flip through. But I've enjoyed the section thoroughly. And a couple of things have jumped at me, which I think I will have to work on myself. Those are my key takeaways. Um, I am really excited that we are able to finish this. We plan and then we move. So, David, please plan for the next read. We are reading 0 to 1, I guess. Yeah, 0 to 1, right? The
Yeah.
next book is 0 to 1. So let's plan for it immediately and send the roster so that people get to prepare. If we have 2 weeks, everybody get to pick up their chapter and at least read, and we don't have any break in transition.
Sorry, Princess.
Yes.
I've got a question. I don't know if we should take this offline, or maybe it's
Maybe
not
David,
nothing
you can stop
serious.
recording.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nothing serious actually, but just for the sake of the